It is my great pleasure to address you today as the United Nations prepares for the imminent adoption of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This new development framework places a strong emphasis not only on the goals to be achieved, but also on the means of implementation, in the context of which the use of standard operating procedures will become increasingly important. After months of consultations, the international community has reached agreement on a set of 17 ambitious, inclusive, and universal development goals. Those goals will guide our collective efforts to achieve sustainable development in all its dimensions by 2030, encompassing economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental sustainability. For the very first time, industry is being fully acknowledged as a driver of development in this new framework through SDG 9, which calls upon the global community to build a resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. UNIDO's mandate of inclusive and sustainable industrial development contained in the landmark Lima Declaration adopted by its member states during the 15th session of its General Conference in December 2013 is thus fully reflected in the 2030 Agenda. It provides us with an unparalleled mechanism for enhancing and reinforcing economic growth and diversification in a socially inclusive and environmentally sound manner. UNIDO's mandate echoes SDG 9, but also aligns with many other development goals, including those related to poverty eradication, creating full and productive employment, achieving gender equality, and the empowerment of women and girls, etc. Implementing the 2030 Agenda and its interlinked goals, targets, will pose a significant challenge for the United Nations development system, especially at the field level. It will only be feasible in the environment in which the United Nations country teams in all countries fully commit themselves to the institutionalization of the principles of United Nations system-wide coherence and the delivering as one approach. The standard operating procedures, which were adopted in 2014, are a major tool to ensure that the United Nations system performs as one in support of the 5 conceptual pillars of one program, one leader, operating as one budget, common budgetary framework, and communicating as one. UNIDO is fully committed to applying the standard operating procedures and is convinced that they represent a major step forward to enable the UN system to respond in a coordinated, coherent, and a complementary manner to its stakeholders, the governments, and the people of the world. In this connection, I would like to emphasize the following points. Number 1, the use of these standard operating procedures should support improved strategic programming, greater mutual accountability, and a reduced transaction cost for governments, the donors, and the UN system itself. Number 2, members of the UN development system should have a shared and a common responsibility to respond in a flexible, rapid, coordinated, and coherent manner to the requirements and the expectations of our stakeholders and to reach those most in need. Number 3, it encourages effective engagement in country-level One UN joint initiatives with relevant UN sister agencies, whose reinforcement of each other's results in a great development impact. Number 4, we should continue to encourage this approach by supporting the use of standard operating procedures, including in countries where UNIDO has a non-resident status. In conclusion, I invite all of you to make the most appropriate use of the standard operating procedures as a key instrument for the effective delivery of quality results at the field level towards achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, anchored in the 5 Ps: people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. Thank you for your attention.